phone? It's on the phone. Hey guys, this is Jordan and Willow.
Hi. Okay, so I have an 11-year-old brother, and my brother doesn't know it. So I have a little hobby I do where I dress up. I figure something out, dress up, and do an evil plot on him.
But we came up with a better idea. Has anyone ever read Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark? Post a comment if you have.
Okay, yeah. But they're in the book. I remember reading it, and I thought this is gonna be right. It's called The Dead Man's Brain. Now, I went on YouTube since we didn't have the book, and we looked at a video, and we stopped every few seconds to write down what some guy was reading. He was reading it on YouTube.
We'll recite it in another video. It's probably one of the other ones on the list. Just look for it.
And what the game is about is about going in a dark room. You lay up in a circle. You blindfold the people. And you have a giant plate, and on that plate has little small plates from items. Now, what are in the items?
Look what she's doing.
What are in the items is one. Wet smushy tomato. The wet smushy tomato is obviously if you can't see what you're feeling and you think of it, if you actually feel it, it feels like you're thinking of. So a wet squishy tomato actually feels like brains if you feel it. So there's two ways you can play. One, first way you can play it. You play it, and the first person and the last person standing, if the person screams, they're out of the game. And the last person standing wins. Or you could just play the whole game straight, and you play it, and basically you play it. Second reason, basically you play it no matter how scared you are, nobody can be out. So,
okay, hang on. We'll finish. We'll tell you what everything else is, and we're going to go through a few series of videos telling you how to make them and how to make them like the parts. But in this one, we're going to make blood, which contains of syrup, honey, ketchup, and our old friend, water. And now remind yourself that you can also add other ingredients to make it the certain consistency you want. Okay, so let's get cooking. Get a bowl, Willow.
Okay. One. Get a bowl.
We're not going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 7, 6, right?
No.
Okay. First off, you take the bowl and you're going to put the syrup. You're going to put the ketchup in first. Okay, you hold that while I put the ketchup.
Okay. First, you make sure you got to shake it up because it doesn't come out. It won't come out right if you don't shake it up. It'll come out all liquidy, and you don't want it too liquidy.
Yes, not too liquidy.
So just pour it in. Now, not a lot though. You want to add a little bit at a time because too much could be too thick. Even if you add water, it's gonna make it all messed up. Too little, you can just still add a little bit more, but you don't want to add too much. Just be sure.
Next, we're gonna add our good old friend maple syrup.
Yes.
And I know it's just syrup, but it's maple syrup.
Just add a little bit of that. Now, what the syrup is for is to make it a little bit thicker. Now, we would use molasses, but obviously I don't have molasses. But syrup is a good substitute.
And the honey is just to make it thicker as well, but the water will help even out the thinness
and the ketchup and make it look a little more fluffy.
The reason we're adding all this sweet stuff is to make blood a little bit sugary. Oh wow, I can keep the camera on me now.
All right.
I can't open it. Oh, there it is. Got it.
Okay. It's gonna be a little bit thick. Just give it a minute. Okay. This is brought to you by Grr loves tacos and muffins. This wasn't. Okay, it's coming.
We're just doing it. It's coming out.
We're doing this video randomly, just to let you know.
Just use approximate measurements because we can't give you exact measurements because depending on how much you want to make, the measurements are all different.
This is our first time, but we're still good at this stuff.
I've done it. It's not my first time. I've made this.
Well, this is my first for the game.
Well, yeah, for the game. Okay, now I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna get a cup.
While you do that, I'm gonna tell you something. Earlier today, she pretended to stab me with a pin, and she pretended to clip my shoulder, where she pretended to stab me to make it look like she clipped my hole so I wouldn't bleed all over the place. And my brother actually, I was dead because I I'm actually good at holding my breath, so I held my breath, and I stared at him. It was funny. Alright, check out that. That's a little bit thick, but
That's why we're adding the thinner water, the water to thin it. And if you want to make it a little warmer instead of using warm water, you could use something like, look at me.
Oh, yeah.
You can microwave it. It always works.
So make it warm. So when they
touch it, it still feels like the human being was alive recently.
Yes.
Now it's a little bit thin.
Wow.
We're gonna add a little bit more syrup to it.
A little more syrup.
Don't go overboard on the ingredients. Even though you want to make a lot, you don't want to make too much.
Too much, because if you make too much, your mom will start yelling at you for wasting the ketchup and syrup and honey and stuff. You get the idea. Okay, if you don't, then I'm so.
Now this is the easiest way to do it. If you have too much water, just run the faucet.
Take the spoon.
Take the spoon and cover it up a little. And if a little bit comes out, it's okay. Just kind of drain out some of it.
If it's too much water, so you know how you do that.
And then we're gonna go back and add some more ketchup to even out the stuff we just dropped out.
We're videotaping Swamp Run, by the way. Yeah, I think that's enough ketchup.
That should be enough with the ketchup, and then we're gonna add some little more water to help thin it back out. Okay, but you get the basic idea. So you experiment, and we'll see you guys in our next video. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, just click.